We'll round out our morning availability with Dale Earnhardt Jr., driver of the number 88 National Guard Chevrolet. Dale, obviously you sit sixth in points right now, so in a great position to move forward in the next round of the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Have a win to your credit here at Dover. Just talk a little bit about your thoughts of being here this weekend, your thoughts on the chase, and heading into the weekend here.
We're in kind of right in the middle there and got a pretty decent cushion back to 13th. But you just got to keep racing, put your head down, and work on the car today and tomorrow, and give myself and Steve and the engineer and everybody all the opportunity to try to improve the car over the next couple of days. That's what we'll just focus on, just working together and spending time around each other and being available and conversating about what's going on today and tomorrow and the information we have from our teammates and the stuff that we have from years or races past, and just trying to find out how to make the car as competitive as possible so we can make the job as easy as possible on Sunday.
Okay, we'll open up for questions. We'll start with Randy, then go to Claire.
Yeah. I know. I don't understand.
Okay. Hey, two things. One about you and one about Chase Elliott, if I can ask.
Yep.
Mr. Hendrick told a story a few weeks ago when he was in Kansas City about a contract you guys had on a napkin. Can you tell me that real briefly? I mean, this was a long time ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, we told the story a million times, but basically I was with Kenny Schrader for a week while he was racing out in the Midwest, and there was a race in Topeka, Kansas, ARCA race on Sunday that we would eventually end up at. Dad was going to be there. Schrader was there. Rick was driving. Darrell was driving. And so I'd been with Schrader all week, and when we got there on race day, I was hanging out at Schrader's rented motor coach and whatever we'd been driving all over the country all week. And Rick asked me if I'd sign a lifetime contract before my dad got there, so we was just joking around. He wrote one out on a napkin, and I signed it. We don't have the napkin. Rick doesn't have the napkin, and Dad wasn't really thrilled about it, so he didn't see the joke. Especially after I found out what me and Schrader had been into all week, he was pretty upset.
But you and Rick have a real connection too, I guess, too, because of the tragedies in both of your lives. How have you related, with what you went through with his dad and what he went through with Ricky?
I think that when somebody loses somebody, you just have an understanding of what that person is going through, and we don't talk about it. We don't sit down and lean on each other too much, but you just know what that person went through and the trouble that put your heart through, and so you just kind of I don't know, once you go through that, you kind of get compassion in your heart when you see someone else going through the same process.
And finally on Chase, just talk about him. He can make history to be a rookie and win a championship. Chase Elliott, has he exceeded your expectations? What's he brought to that car?
Well, we knew he was pretty good, and the car is awesome. And the car is giving him every opportunity to learn on a quicker scale. So, he's just doing a good job with the car, and the car is really, really good. So, I think it's the best car in the garage, and they're the best prepared group, and they cover the details. They got a great crew chief with Greg. So he's given a great opportunity in cars that he can excel in and excel in quicker, because the car really is an easy tool for him. So he's able to sort of hone his skills and understand what he's looking for. When he goes to all these racetracks, for the first time this year, he wasn't sure exactly what a car is supposed to feel like or what a fast car is supposed to feel like around there. And when they're able to deliver that to him without him really having to search for that, it just makes his job a whole lot easier. So the next time he goes back to these tracks, he understands what he's looking for. He can talk to Greg and communicate with Greg about what he had the past time and how good that was and what he expects out of the car and needs the car to do at that certain track. So both of those, the car and the driver, I think, complement each other really, really well.
Okay, we'll try to get as many questions in as we can in the allotted time. We'll go to Claire, then we'll go to Jeff, Bob, and Woody. Go ahead, Claire.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Can you talk about what sort of energy you got from the high school students yesterday, and then describe for us how unforgiving this track is for those who will never be?
Been sending me to these high schools for about 2 or 3 years now, and it's super duper nerve-wracking because kids are the toughest critics, but to get up in front of the whole school and sit there and have a conversation and do a Q&A, I enjoy it, and we take it as an opportunity to help kids of that age understand the opportunities that the Guard can provide, and also just kind of talk about racing. So there's a lot of kids at that age that are wearing T-shirts and racing shirts and jackets, and they're fans and they want to know. And they get an opportunity to ask some questions, so it's a lot of fun for me, and I always go away super happy about it. It's a great experience so far every time we've went, and they've gotten easier since we started doing them. But this racetrack here is just it's the concrete's probably the toughest characteristic. There's some bumps going into turn 3. It's kind of like driving over a railroad track, and the car just kind of hops across the surface like a rock skipping on the water going into the corner. So you're really, chasing the back of the car around, and that gets worse and worse as the weekend goes and track gets rubber on it. I'm real jealous of the guys that got to race on this thing when it was asphalt in the 80s. It looked like a lot of fun. But it's been concrete for a while, and we've had some good runs here, and do enjoy the challenges that the concrete provides. But, Jimmy's been the guy that's pretty much had a lock on this place the last several years for as long as I can remember. And I think this was one of the first racetracks where I noticed, I think, in his rookie season how good he could be. So he's really the guy to beat, I think, every time you come here. And he might not really show that throughout the practices. There'll be some other guys with good speed, but once the race starts, he separates himself from the field. So we had a chance to run with him last year during the chase here, and ended up running second. So we're getting better. We're getting better here.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Jeff, then go to Bob and Woody.
Jeff Gluck from USA Today. I noticed on Twitter that you saw these pylons outside the fence, and I guess it might have been wishful thinking on your part to think they were lights. Would you like to see a night race here, and what do you think that would look like?
Well, I think it would be a new element to a track that certainly could benefit from that. So, looking at the grandstands the last 5 or 6 years here, we've seen a pretty steady decline in people and an increase in sponsorship tarps, and so I don't know if a night race would make a big difference. In my personal opinion, it'd be a gain in the short term, but it's nothing that's going to create a steady increase in sales year after year after year. It's just kind of more of a the neatness will wear off, and you just get back to being a racetrack. But night races are fun, but I think everybody understands that the best racing is the racing where the track gets wide, and the track gets wider when the track's hotter, the surface is warmer. So you want to run in the warmest part of the day. You want to race during where the conditions can produce the best style of racing, and that's when the track temperature's up. And so you definitely hope for a warm Sunday afternoon. It's 85, 90 degrees where the track's real slick and guys are really looking around the racetrack for grip. The cooler the track is, the more it really funnels everybody to the bottom groove. We see that at Charlotte, a lot of places that run night races where it sort of turns into a single groove racetrack, the cooler it gets.
Okay, we'll take our next question. Bob, go ahead.
Bob Hocker, Sporting News. With Tony being cleared by the grand jury, do you and the other drivers, do you feel like you have any sort of sense of relief for him and maybe even for the sport as a whole?
Well, I think, I don't know if relief is what I had. I just, I didn't really pay super close attention to what was going on. More or less just letting the process play itself out. And I feel a sadness in my heart for the Ward family, but at the same time, you get this, something in the pit of your stomach that's sort of this, this frightfulness or this fear for Tony, so, and what he's having to deal with. Just having known him for all these years, you can imagine that he's going through something super emotional and overwhelming by a huge measure. So, there's a sort of a, sickness or something there in the pit of your stomach for what Tony's going through, but at the same time, you got to you never really forget that somebody was killed, and somebody's, there's a family with a hole in their heart, and they've got to figure out a way to live out the rest of their lives with this this always on their mind, and it'll have a huge effect on both sides for so many years. So it's just super duper unfortunate.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Woody, then go to Vance.
Woody came with MRN. Dale, saw earlier in the week you were tweeting about learning to make jerky and even threw in a little Thomas Jefferson there. Wonder how that's going, and if you have any interest in going to the American Royal next week in Kansas since you've been getting into the barbecue more.
Yeah, we've been working so damn much. I ain't got the chance to barbecue much, but we've been working like crazy this year. I thought the older I get, the more leverage I'd get and the less I'd have to do, but it's actually turned around. Not working for me too much, but we're working really, really hard, and I'm enjoying what we got going on. This is the part of the year where not only are we trying to get through the chase, but all of our sponsors are coming to us for 2015 stuff, trying to get all their commercials shot and all their photos taken, and all the new uniforms and cars and all that stuff. So I only if I get a Monday off, I'm lucky. Looking at my calendar all the way to Homestead. So, but I enjoy, I do enjoy cooking barbecue, and it's real similar to preparing an old late model for a race. It's a lot of maintenance, and you're always kind of tinkering and playing and tweaking on the setup, and you take it to the track and tweak on a little bit here, tweak on a little bit there. You don't get too far out of your comfort zone. But so it's real similar to that, and you get your buddies around. Just like in the late model days, everybody's a volunteer. And, I'm going to get me a dehydrator and I got to read up, though. I'm not going to jump in like I did with the barbecue. I got to read up, make sure I get the right stuff first, because I got like 3 smokers now because I went in there too quick and bought and just kind of got in over my head, not getting the right stuff. So, but Myron Mixon says you got to be able to smoke on everything no matter what it is. So.
Mm-hmm.